Why, oh, why did the New England Patriots stand pat for the second straight year on the trade deadline? Well, as you can see from my guest today, finances might have had a little bit to do with it. Settle in. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough
I lost.
faithfully, and thank you once again for making Locked On Patriot also your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So smash that subscribe button, download, subscribe to, and follow Locked On Patriots wherever you get your podcasts. Folks, it is trade deadline day, and that can mean only one thing. Foxborough Finance factoring into a lot of the decisions coming out of the corporate headquarters in Foxborough today. And we will get to all of the finances in just a moment with my esteemed guest, Miguel PatsCap Benzan himself. But first, folks, remember today's episode of Locked On Patriots is presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry.
Wow.
First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com, promo code Locked On. Folks, for the second straight year, your New England Patriots did not make a move at the trade deadline. Several other teams in the NFL did, including a couple of key division rivals. And ultimately, Miguel, these matters all come down to finance. And that is why we have brought in the salary cap top gun, the only man that can possibly navigate us through the Patriots' decisions today. He is my good friend. Miguel PatsCap Benzan joins me today. Miguel, welcome back to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
Always a pleasure being here, Mike. Always an honor to be on the show. Love being on the show. Love listening to the show. You have great guests. Folks, I apologize for I was wearing the red long T-shirt in honor of Matthew Judon. I'm looking at it. Boy, this shirt is red on the TV. On the computer.
You know what? It's perfect. It's because a lot of New England Patriots fans right now, Miguel, are seeing red as the 4 p.m. trade deadline has eclipsed. New England right now, they're not too happy seeing, obviously, the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins making moves. We're going to get into those moves in just a moment. But, Miguel, obviously, the Patriots standing pat is not something that I think should come as a shock to most Patriots fans. Look, folks, there's a lot of reasons why New England did that. Miguel's going to get into the finances of it in just a moment. Logistically, New England right now is looking at commodities that probably would not have fetched a whole lot in terms of draft capital or readily available NFL talent that was coming back. So in that regard, you're selling off pieces for small returns. But ultimately, the New England Patriots are always going to keep an eye on the finance level of this. And Miguel, that is where you come in, my friend. Bottom line, in your expert opinion, when you look at the Patriots and their lack of doing moves today, was it the right move financially?
I think so, Mike. And I'll say this. I think, let's remember, the Patriots already traded away several players during the offseason, all right? From Shaq Mason, Chase Winovich, Jarrett Stidham, Justin Herron, and I'm forgetting someone, N'Keal Harry. So they already made some player trades. Let's just say there were 7 players Patriots named as possible trade targets. All right. The value for some of these players was not going to be worth getting rid of them. For example, Damian Harris. All right. You need, as well as Ramondre Stevenson is playing, just in case he gets hurt, you need depth on the running back position. All right. Jabril Peppers. His deal is so good for the Patriots. Why trade him away? All right. Ditto for Kendrick Bourne. All right. He just traded for Devontae Parker. So in order to get, if you were to trade him away, you have to get back at least the same deal. All right. But his money and his cap number this year and next year is for what he can do is tremendous value.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then we have the two players who I thought they could have been in the mix of trading is Isaiah Wynn and Nelson Agholor. All right.
Mm.
Those had big cap numbers. Still had, even though it was there's only 10 weeks left, so 8 weeks of the salary has been already paid by the Patriots. Another team would have to pay them 10 weeks of salary or over $5 million. All right.
Right.
That limits how many teams could have applied for him. And the value wasn't just there. I mean, for Nelson Agholor, I would think the value wasn't there because I think if they trade Nelson Agholor, the Patriots would have to make it worth the other team's while. They really, therefore, they weren't going to save that much money. The Bears could have wanted to eat money, all right, when they traded away Quinn and when they traded Raquan Smith. I don't think if you're going to eat money, that lessens the value for the player. So if you're going to, is it better to have Nelson Agholor on this and have that much dead money, or have him on the roster, just in case someone. Right now, everyone's playing healthy. You got Agholor. You got Parker, you got Myers, you got Thornton. But what if one of those guys gets hurt? There goes your depth.
Right.
Same, and with Isaiah Wynn.
I know.
I know. He would have been. It's the way he's playing. I don't see a team trading for him.
Yeah.
But then again, he plays at a position, left tackle, that usually don't get out to free agency.
Right.
So maybe the Patriots are hoping that he surprises people, and there was one team. All he needs is one team in free agent to overpay the guy, and maybe you get a third or fourth round compensatory pick in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I was only those. I never thought I thought they were going to trade those guys. They would be straight up. I don't think I never thought they were going to eat money. All right.
Right.
So that's why I think that's what they did. I think I know it was 10 trades today. It's it's an NFL record.
Mm-hmm.
But folks, the Patriots have been making trades all throughout the Bill Belichick era. If this time you're upset because they didn't make a trade during one day, that's on you, and I don't think it's on Bill Belichick. Especially if you remember how many trades they made this year. All right?
Absolutely.
They've been dealing trades. So and on the whole, I think if you to measure up the trades, and I should do this, maybe I'll do this in a tweet later, this is what they've traded for this year, and this is what they got in return, and then let everybody just judge if the Patriots made good trades as a whole. I think they did. I'm remembering, and if I had included the cap space, which would be a lot more time, but I think in a whole they did. I mean, like, for example, N'Keal Harry, for whatever they got from the Bears, that was a good trade. Jared Stidham, good trade for me, and anything for him was a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
No offense to Jared Stidham's family. Okay. Hopefully, it's your question, Mike.
No, it absolutely does. And no, I mean, no one thinks that you're being, disingenuous to the families of N'Keal Harry or Jarrett Stidham or the players themselves. Look, bottom line, they were awkward at best fits in New England, and really not so much Jarrett. I think he was a victim of the numbers game, but N'Keal, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out here in New England for him. So it's time to move on. It's time to go and make that move, and the Patriots did just that. I agree 100% with what you said in terms of when they looked at moving Agholor, they looked at moving Wynn. Especially with Wynn, the compensatory pick possibly coming back is probably as good, if not better, than what they would have gotten on the open market. And Wynn absolutely has to prove himself from a logistical standpoint, taking finances out of this for a second. From an X's and O's standpoint, what I see on the field is a guy that needs to play a little bit better if he hopes to get a max deal or a decent deal out there on the free agent market. Now, tackles, offensive linemen are always going to be paid. There's no question about it. So Isaiah's probably going to be in for a decent payday at the very least. But if he's looking to maximize his value, he's probably looking at a situation where he knows now he's got a couple of months in New England. He's staying put. So now he's got to put it all out there on the field. And maybe New England gets the best of him for the last couple of months. And then, stranger things have happened, Miguel. We always say, well, he'll be on his merry way. Maybe there's a situation where this kind of gives new life to the relationship. I personally don't think it will, but it could happen. So excellent, spot on analysis, and I do agree with you financially. I think this move
I should
was
say
the
this.
right move to make.
Okay, I should say this about Isaiah Wynn. He didn't. I know for a fact he didn't attend one. I think somebody else has said this before, so I'm not breaking news. He did not attend one off season. Did not earn one penny of off season workout bonus money.
Right.
And it's like like Mac Jones, he attended all 32.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Wynn attended 0.
Yeah.
Right. Even when Stephon Gilmore was beefing with the Patriots about his contract, he at least attended the mandatory mini camp. So he attended 4. Mm-hmm. I think Wynn 0. I'm like, holy cow.
That's a good point. That is a very, very good point. So, I know our main man Murph has joined me here on the airwaves several times. He was on here yesterday. We talked a little bit about, what was going on with Wynn. And, there's sort of, this undercurrent that maybe he's already mentally checked out of New England. If that is indeed the case, then he really is going to still need to step up his games. Because even if he doesn't want to play well for New England, if he continues to have difficulty, it's only going to devalue him on the open market. So New England doesn't part with Wynn. They held on to Agholor. Were you surprised that they held on to Agholor? Because I didn't expect them to trade, obviously, Myers, definitely not Harris. I didn't expect them to trade Bourne, but Agholor was out there kind of dangling. I was wondering if there was going to be a team that was going to bite onto the remainder of his salary.
Okay. Some teams make trades. Some teams should make trades. Mm-hmm. The teams I thought they should have made trades should have traded for Agholor were the Cowboys and Packers.
Yeah.
All right. Fans of those teams, I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. Those two teams play in a lousy conference. All right. They needed to step up their game, increase their talent. All right. And they had the cap space to do it. I would, so I'd be if I'm a fan of the Patriots, but if I was a fan of the Packers or the Cowboys, I'd be more upset at them for not doing anything than the Patriots standing pat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like this, I don't know if we're seeing more and more trades, and that's because we're seeing more younger and younger GMs in the business, right? And they devalue draft picks, all right? And some people like to hold on to them. And the teams that make trades, go after RFAs, post people off the practice squads. Those are teams that are always doing something. Teams are always doing something to make their team better. Those are the teams going to end up winning. Mm-hmm. I think like I don't have. I don't see. I'll be wrong. I'll probably mark this down. I can't see how the Packers and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. Right, and I'm not saying because they didn't trade for Nelson Agholor, because bottom line is I don't think they did enough to improve their teams to make them Super Bowl champions. Maybe they'll go on a run like the Bengals, all right, okay, but I just don't see it happening. And it takes 2 to tango,
right?
So like if all 31 teams were interested in Nelson Agholor or Isaiah Wynn, maybe a trade happens, right? Mm-hmm. But there's gonna be few teams are interested, and some teams don't make trades. It's like I would have been shocked if the Bengals had made a trade this year at deadline, and I don't think they did. I would have been shocked if the Packers did. I was shocked. Mm-hmm. Like I heard the the Cowboys were talking to the Texans for Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, yeah.
Yep, but they couldn't come up on the compensation. Like literally should have went for the cheaper guy. I mean Nelson Agholor for a half a year rental than Brandon Cooks, who's got $18 million guaranteed next year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna be about to rant about Jerry Jones again. So let's stop.
No, you're right. I mean, especially from a Packers, standpoint, you're supposedly going all in with Aaron Rodgers this year. I mean,
oh my God.
If there's pass catchers out there to be had, you had to think that maybe there was some interest in Agholor. I'm not sure how deep those conversations, went, or even if they were taking place. There were all kinds of rumor and innuendo, but again, this year, Miguel, it was such a difficult market, such a difficult media scrum to read this year when it came to the trade deadline. And it is a record-setting day. So obviously there were a lot of conversations being taken place.
Yeah. And, how did they not go for Claypool or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
It is true,
it's funny.
folks.
The Patriots will get credit. Probably might get more criticized for not making a trade than those two other teams.
Yeah, and there is definitely something to be said about that. We're not completely done talking Patriots yet, folks, because
No.
Miguel still has to let us know how this is all going to shake out. But a couple of key division rivals of the New England Patriots spent a little bit today to bring in some valuable capital. How does it all work out? And will they regret any of these moves from a financial standpoint? My man Miguel sets the record straight in just a moment when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. But first, folks, I want to tell you a little bit about our sponsor today, PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. And let me tell you how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they will go score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. There's no competing with other people. It's just you versus the projections available. And PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you would want to watch, including NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, college football, men's and women's college basketball, and so much more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. That's right, folks. It is that easy to do. The withdrawals are safe, they're fast, and they're currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That means if you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On at sign up for instant deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com. Patriots fans, it is a record-setting trade deadline episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast. It is, I'd love to say it's a record-setting episode for the podcast, but it is record-setting because my man Miguel has joined us here today to break everything down. Of course, the PatsCap himself, Miguel Benzan, has given us his wisdom and counsel on the Patriots' financial decisions today in standing pat at the trade deadline. Miguel, the Patriots may not have made a move, but 2 of their key division rivals definitely did. As a matter of fact, the Miami Dolphins making a pair of moves, bringing in a much-needed running back, a very much-needed, or I should say much-coveted defensive star in Bradley Chubb. And, of course, the Buffalo Bills, making no mistake about it, they're going all in as well. They brought in Nyheim Hines from the Indianapolis Colts, who the Patriots, incidentally, will be facing this week. Miguel, when you look at the moves that are made by the Patriots' rivals, obviously it's going to get the blood boiling of the fan base. Why are the Bills and Dolphins making moves? Why aren't the Patriots? You outlined very well about the Patriots' financial situation, but is there anything that the Bills or the Dolphins should be aware of in the moves that they made today about kicking the financial can down the street?
Okay, let's do the Bills first, because the Bills traded away a running back, Zach Moss, in the trade for Hines, which was kind of offsets the cost of obtaining Hines. Right. That was a smart move on their part. He doesn't have any guaranteed money next year, so they could, if they need cap space, they could just cut him and not lose and not have any dead money. All right.
Right.
And folks, this is the total aside. Every now and then, people say NFL players should have fully guaranteed contracts.
Mm-hmm.
It would hurt the business of the NFL if they did so. I doubt that the Bills would trade for Hines if he had his 2023-24 salaries were fully guaranteed.
Right.
Okay. As for the Dolphins, if they have not reached a long-term extension agreement to have a long-term extension with Bradley Chubb, that was a mistake.
Right.
That was a mistake because he has all the leverage in the dealings with them. All right. So I don't know that we're doing this live with 6:26 like that. So I've been off Twitter during this podcast. So I don't know. Maybe maybe Adam Schefter's tweeting out the details of the deal right now. But if they haven't, that was a mistake on their part. It's these 2 moves I think are tell you that they want to win the Super Bowl this year. All right. And I just think it's, as a Patriots fan, I think it's I take it as a badge of honor that the Bills are kind of copying what the Patriots have done in the sense that they've had excellent pass catching RBs on their roster for up 10 years, from Kevin Falk to James White to now Ramondre Stevenson. So now the Bills are following that model by obtaining Nyheim Hines. The Dolphins know to get to the Super Bowl, they probably have to go through the Bills. All right. And they got to put pressure on Josh Allen. All right. So they got Bradley Chubb. That makes sense, especially if it's kind of funny as the NFL increases the number of games in the regular season, it lessens the impact of divisional games. But now with 7 teams in the playoffs, it's likely that you might play it more likely you play your divisional rival 3 times in the playoffs.
Right.
All right. So there's a chance that the Dolphins might play the Bills. If they want to get to the Super Bowl this year, they're gonna have to play the Bills probably 2 more times. I think they played them once. All right, already. So that makes sense for them. But if they did not read an extension with him or Bradley Chubb, boy, the Chubb's got a lot of leverage because you traded away those picks, and it'll look foolish if he walks away in free agency.
Yeah, it definitely will. And all indications are that the Dolphins and Chubb are looking to extend this deal. They're looking to, keep him in the fold at least for the foreseeable future. So you have to think that the Dolphins had that in mind before they went into this. Just, a temporary rental or whatever that was going to be the case was certainly not going to work in this situation. So, it is tough to watch your division rivals. And you mentioned the Buffalo Bills kind of taking a page out of the Patriots book. How the tables have turned in the Buffalo Bills being one of the juggernauts right now in the AFC, excuse me, but in the NFL as well. And of course, the Miami Dolphins right there trying to keep pace. And you've got the Patriots and the Jets right now kind of treading water. Obviously, the Jets are in better shape record-wise, but the Patriots might be, gaining on them as well. So, it may be a tough year in the AFC East for the New England Patriots, but they will continue to do what they do. And of course, the Patriots always have their eye on the future, folks, as does my man, Miguel. The Patriots might be in decent financial shape to make things happen in the offseason this year. And Miguel is going to let us know in just a moment when we wrap things up here on this trade deadline episode exactly how the New England Patriots may have better positioned themselves financially by not doing anything today on the trade deadline. This and more when Locked On Patriots continues. But first, folks, today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline.net, your number one source for football betting information this season. Find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, podcasts, in-depth articles, and analysis on every game that you can find. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sport wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. They're the fastest and the easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Patriots fans, the salary cap top gun himself joins me here today, Miguel Benzan, bringing us all the wisdom and counsel that you can handle when it comes to the New England Patriots activity or lack thereof at today's trading deadline. And Miguel, we talked a little bit about what the rivals did. We talked a little bit about the financial reasons that the Patriots had for standing pat this time around. But bottom line, and I hinted at this when I opened the show today in saying that I believe that the Patriots staying put at the deadline makes sense. They could have sold off some pieces for some small return, but they really were not in a financial position to go all in on someone like a Bradley Chubb or a Roquan Smith. You outlined that perfectly. Now the Patriots are going to play out the string and see where it takes you, and they're going to keep some salary cap flexibility for next season. That's where you come in, my friend. You're looking now at 2023 if you're the New England Patriots. By not making a move here, how does this set them up financially for 2023 in terms of trying to make maybe a little bit more of a free agent splash than they did a trade splash today?
Well, the Patriots right now, Mike, I have them with ending this year with about $100,000 in cap space. All right. If they had traded for a player, and it really depends on how they made room for the player, they would have had to create cap space either now or later during the year. All right. Still would have been. Which means if you create cap space this year by restructuring a deal, that means you increase that player's cap number in 2023. All right. So which means the cap space in 2023 would have been less. If you had cut a player, it might have been a wash, but depending on who you cut. So it would have been hard. It's hard to say specifically without knowing what would have happened. But it would have been. It really depends. You didn't want to. They still might, Mike, restructure a deal which would increase the player's 2023 cap number. We'll see. Because they're close, Mike. They're close to. If my numbers are on, depending on how many practice squad elevations they make the rest of the year, they might need to create cap space. All right. Yeah. And hopefully, knock on wood, if they stay relatively healthy, they might not need to. But if they have a bad batch of injuries and they need to keep it, they put players on IR, they'll definitely need to create cap space. But I don't like to speak about injuries. I don't want to speak it into existence. All right. Sure. But let's just talk about 2023. All right. As of now, folks, and I'll just say this: every week I tweet out what I have for the Patriots 2023 number. All right, I haven't had a chance to, because we're doing the show live, and as far as I know, the Patriots might have made some transactions while Mike and I were talking, because today's Tuesday, and they would have probably made some transactions, because if you have a player on the roster as on Tuesdays of the week, the player gets paid for the week. So that's why you see a lot of transactions throughout the NFL each week, because you don't want to pay the player for the week if you had to cut him on a Wednesday, or say. So I have it right now as $36.5 million. All right, and I know people have said, "Well, why is that so much less than everybody else?" Let me explain why. Okay, right now I have 5 players who are on pace to earn not likely to be earned incentives. Right. In 2022, if they earn them, it then makes them likely to be earned in 2023, increasing their cap numbers. All right. So for those folks who maintain the Excel workbook, I'm going to say these players and the amounts slowly. All right. Matthew Judon has a $500,000 All-Pro incentive, first team or second team. All right. Right. Trent Brown can earn up to $4.5 million in playing time incentives. He's yet to miss a snap this year. All right. Dietrich Wise, $2 million, like Mike V says every Sunday now. Dietrich Wise is playing a lot of snaps. All right. Yeah. So he can earn up to $2 million in playing time incentives. All right. Jaquan Bentley, $1.5 million in incentives. Okay. I had Devontae Parker was on pace to earn a $375,000 receiving yards incentive, but he's no longer on pace. I just haven't had a chance to, because of the time, I haven't had a chance to update my notes. All right. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Michael Onwenu, he's already earned the proven performance escalator, which increases the salaries of players not drafted in the first round to the low restricted free agent tender of that year. All right. He's already done enough to earn what they can say level 1 tender. He's already done enough. All right. What he's trying to do right now is to play 60% of the snaps this year, and they'll give him level 2. And I'll earn him another $250. I'll increase the salary 2023 by another $250,000. All right. He's not missed a snap this year. All right. He's on. So stay healthy. If he stays healthy, exactly. he's gonna make it. All right. Right. Got to say this: Cal Duggar, he has a chance to also earn that. I don't have him earning it right now. He has the chance to earn it. All right. He has to play over 60% of a lot of snaps the rest of the way because he's missed a couple of games this year.
Right.
If he gets over 60% of the year, or plays enough snaps even for 60% of the year, or 60% of the total snaps for the first 3 years, he'll increase it. He'll get the PPE.
Right.
All right. And because these players have earned not likely to be earned incentives, all right, that makes the Patriots the Patriots will lose adjusted cap number will be less than the league cap number. All right. So right now, I project the league cap number as I point to my Excel workbook, which is kind of stupid because people can't see me, can't see the workbook, the numbers. Right. All right. Okay. Right now, I'm projecting the 2023 league cap to be $228.2 million, a $20 million increase from 2022. All right. I expect the Patriots to carry over $100,000. All right. In cap space. Between the credits and incentives and stuff, they're going to have a negative adjustment. All right. Of $4.7 million. Now, I'm just rounding the numbers. All right.
Yep.
So it means their adjusted cap number is going to be $223.6 million, which is less than the league cap number of $228.2 million. Right. Right now, there's an off-season workout charge every year. It's going to be $900,000 just rounded. Right now, I have them with $1.4 million of dead money. I'm just using round numbers.
Right.
I'm having, and I presume that they do this every year. The Patriots always sign a great number of their practice squad players to future contracts. So while they have only right now about 41 players on the roster for the 2023 season, right after the season over, hopefully the season's over in February and not in January. All right.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. I have the total top 51 cap commitments as $184.8 million. That difference is $36.5 million. Obviously, as players, there's been up and down. Some players are on pace to earn incentives. Some players are not playing, are inactive because of injuries. Right. So right now, I got it. You could say anywhere between 35 and 40. Right. That's before any restructures, cuts, trades, anything. Right. That's gonna put them. I don't do this kind of go into that kind of detail for every other team in the league. All right. But that should put them in the top 10, top 5 of the league, which is where you want to be. All right.
Absolutely.
There's no chance that the Patriots will get to be number 1 because that's the Bears. Bears is over $100,000, $100 million. Excuse me, $100,000, $100 million of gas space. That's just ridiculous. All right. But there's I don't think the Patriots will, because of incentives and everything. I don't think they have a chance of becoming number 2. But I can see them getting in the top 5. All right. And really depends on incentives and injuries. And a couple of things I would say is, like, I have them making an RFA tender to one of their 2 prospective RFAs. They have 2 prospective RFAs, one Miles Bryant and Yannick Kajust. All right. I don't think they're gonna make them to both. I just can't decide, Mike. And folks, if you want to jump in and tweet at me later after you listen to the show, who do you think that if I should have a poll? All right, I'll probably do that during bye week. All right, if you think if the Patriots gonna give those guys RFA tenders. All right, so I had one. So if the other sites don't have that number in there in their numbers. All right. The Patriots gonna be, and that's before any cuts, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Exactly.
So they have multiple ways to create cap space. So they're in good position to get them. I know people were talking about, they have so many free agents, they're not gonna be able to get any comp picks. If the Patriots want to have a 3rd round comp pick in 2024, they'll make it happen. Right?
Exactly.
Because I'll say this, because one reason is because so many players got voided deals.
Yeah.
if your deal voids next year and you were signed to 2024,
Mm-hmm.
you're not eligible to be part of the compensatory pick formula.
Right.
Like Deion Jones, that happened with Deion Jones, Robert Quinn. All right,
Yep.
you could sign those two players and they wouldn't comp pick formula at all. And there's
Yeah.
going to be multiple players in next offseason who's going to be in the same boat because a lot of teams use 4 years to help them get under the cap.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely, yeah, you are. You're absolutely right. And look, bottom line, folks, when you look to the future now in New England, Miguel, I think, has set it up very nicely in showing what needs to be done, what the Patriots have done so far to get themselves where they need to be. And there is definitely hope at the end of the tunnel right now in 2022. Who knows what's going to happen in 2022? Stranger things have happened all over the NFL. So before we say we're
It's
punting to
crazy.
2023, let's take a look and see what the 2022 iteration of the New England Patriots can do. Maybe they don't have all the big splash names on paper, but this is a team that still knows how to win football games. And as long as you have Bill Belichick calling the play, well, I should say Bill Belichick on the sidelines with the final say in calling the plays, you always have a puncher's chance. So, but what can I say? I thank you so much for stopping by today on trade deadline day. Busy day for us all here in the NFL, but definitely great to get your wisdom and counsel. And I know that you set the record straight in a lot of ways with a lot of what the fan base is hearing and a lot of what the New England Patriots did today. And folks, for those of you that want to hear Miguel set the record straight on us in the media and all the cat myths out there, stay tuned because we're going to be having our good friend back on here during the bye week, and he'll be ready to roll. But for today's episode, Miguel, what can I say? I always say this: the Black for the Alternates does not exist because you have no equal. Thank you so much for joining me here today, my friend. Folks, be sure to follow my good friend Miguel Benzan, the PatsCap himself, on Twitter at PatsCap. All the great work that he does for keeping us all informed financially as to what the Patriots can do, what they can't do, what they should be doing, and what they're not doing. But most of all the work that this man does in the community for Habitat and Hartford is something that truly is a blessing to anyone that's been able to benefit from the great work that he does. And to me, I think you deserve so much credit for that. Check out Miguel's Twitter feed for all of the information that you need on that. Folks, in the meantime, thank you very much for choosing Locked On Patriots to be a part of your daily New England Patriots coverage and hopefully your first listen every day. Remember, Locked On Patriots free and available on all platforms, so smash that subscribe button on YouTube and download, subscribe to, and follow wherever you get your podcasts. On behalf of my good friend Miguel, the PatsCap Benzan himself, I'm Mike Debate. Stay safe, stay well, be the change you wish to see in the world. Have a great day, everyone.